So yes, the Queen passed away yesterday at some point during the day. I think it was probably earlier than we found out
I feel
because
like it was
the family.
about 10 o'clock our time was when we found out.
Yeah, around 6 p.m. Yeah, they that's what the BBC was saying yesterday. It's like 6 o'clock. There's going to be an announcement. It was just after 10 a.m. our time. And John, you were saying you can either love her or hate her, but you can't be in between.
Jody, I have a standing rule with Stephanie that she doesn't ask me about celebrities I used to date. But I wasn't really ready for this. We don't talk about my previous relationships with people on this. Look, anyone who's read the Warhol Diaries knows all too well the fun Liz and I had back in the 70s in the Studio 54 days. And, I wished her the best when we parted. The worst thing about this is from now on, whenever British people say God save the Queen, they're going to be talking about Elton. That's the worst part of all of it.
This is true.
Yep. And for Charles, just imagine waiting. You get one promotion in your job, but you have to wait 73 years to get it. And then
he's been waiting.
imagine you're Elizabeth. I mean, you're the greatest achievement your son will ever have, and you're not allowed to see it. The whole system, really, when you think about it. I don't like saying Queen Elizabeth died. I prefer to say she's gone to colonize heaven. But what I learned yesterday was unless you completely hate Queen Elizabeth or unless you completely worship Queen Elizabeth, don't say anything about Queen Elizabeth.
Yeah.
You're allowed to be one of those two things. You can either revere her and love her and be furious at criticisms, or you can despise her and call her a colonizer, even though the truth is, she was the greatest decolonizer in the history of the British Empire. I mean, Africa alone, more than 20 nations left Britain's empire to become independent nations during her tenure. So I think a lot of the hatred that was thrown at her was really unfair. Yes, she could have apologized for the colonizing. She could have made amends. She could have, done something about it. She never did. And we can talk about her skills in terms of parenting all day, but I take nothing away from the fact that people love her, and she did something that's just incredible. She didn't just keep the monarchy going. She kept this goofy, insane system built on pillage and looting. She kept it popular. Yeah, like the monarchy should have been phased out years ago, but it's a tribute to this woman and her stoicism and her strength and her character that the monarchy itself is still popular. I don't know whether Chuck or Billy are going to be able to keep that going. It'll be really interesting to see if this curious institution begins to become more dismantled in our lifetime. But I wasn't ready for anything I said. I was called a Queen Elizabeth basher, and I was called a monarchy apologist.
All at the same time?
Yeah. And I'm like, well, that makes me so morally ambiguous. I bet Queen Elizabeth would like me.
Yes.
There you go.
And she had some stoicism for Britain at a time where we could have used some stoicism in our own country,
Let me tell you, we elect draft dodgers here.
Right.
She actually drove Jeeps in World War II. The joke I got in trouble for was saying, wow, some people will do anything to avoid a second meeting with Liz Truss. But I had to delete that one. I just got too much hate. And it's a Liz Truss joke, you people, but they didn't want to hear it. So, she had an amazing life.
She did.
And I just want to say I'm going to be doing a Sirius XM town hall with Ken Burns next week for his amazing new documentary about America and the Holocaust. So that's
wow.
Okay.
I don't even know. I'm so afraid to say anything more about Elizabeth because the factions and this is our friends on the left really hate her. And I get it, but guys, she was not the colonizer. No. This is going to lose me a lot of friends, but you can't blame someone for the atrocities of their ancestors. Yeah. It would be great if she'd apologized for it.
Yes.
We tried to make amends. We talked about reparations. She could have done a lot more. She could have done a lot more with her son Andrew as well.
Right.
Get me started on that.
Yeah.
But again, if you're one of these Piers Morgans who's more angry and you think Meghan Markle killed her. She was only 96, you people. Meghan Markle killed her.
Yeah.
But you're not talking about Prince Andrew?
Right. I think there are valid reasons to be upset that a monarchy exists, but
yes.
I mean, Queen Elizabeth as a woman and as a leader and as a mother and a grandmother, I think she was fine.
Historical figure.
You know, she kept her child rapist son out of jail.
She did.
Remember that.
I mean, as a mother and grandmother to the country,
her child rapist son will live in incredible wealth and comfort of pillaged wealth for the rest of his miserable life.
She was a better mother and grandmother to the country than she was to her own children.
Yes.
Look, show me one interesting person in history who wasn't deeply flawed in some way. Right. Look at Jody. Show me one interesting. I mean, all interesting people like Jody are also deeply flawed with incredible atrocities behind them.
With a toilet behind me as well.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna try one more time.
Last chance
for Kevin.
Okay.
Kevin, come on, buddy. Okay, there we go. All right, Kevin, how you doing?
Hi. Can you please tell me you hear me now, even if you have to lie to me?
We can hear you.
Yes, Cap. We can. Fine, Cap. Go ahead.
I will stay in one place, and hopefully that helps.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was going to say, and Jody is not flawed. Anyone who speaks fluent nerd and has the sexy librarian look is all right with me. But I will be sorry not to see if you can shake it like your mom, like you promised a couple of years ago when this was over. But maybe next time. But on to the topic. You keep in mind, and hopefully you put the dots out there. People who still say there's no difference, like the comedian Eddie Griffin. I just saw him saying that same crap that there's no difference between Dems and Republicans. The reason why Bannon and that idiot from Infowars, what's his name?
Alex
Jones.
Alex Jones, and the reason that we have a January 6th commission, and the reason that Trump is going through the well-deserved crap storm he's going in, is because either the majority of Democrats is on some committee or some court case or somewhere to bring this about. None of them would be brought up if the so-called same as Republican Democrat Republicans were in charge. In fact, they openly talk about if they get in charge, the commission, the January 6th commission goes away, there will be pardons and so on and so forth. So get it through your head as you watch Bannon, wondrously, walk, with handcuffs on his arms, that they are not the same. So please, people, in addition to abortion or the other reasons, vote Democrat.
Yes, absolutely. Amen. I'm so glad we got to actually hear him talk this time instead of.
It makes a big
he's
difference.
Absolutely right. There is a vast difference between today's Republican Party and today's Democratic Party.
God, look, both sides don't actively defend the Confederacy. Both sides don't want to save Confederate racist statues. Both sides don't want to do nothing about police misconduct. Both sides don't want to legalize weed. Both sides don't want to put women in jail for abortion. Both sides don't want to ask Putin for help. My God, that's like a 20-year-old trope. You can't say anymore post-Trump that the Democrats and the Republicans are the same. Biden and Obama killed the top leadership of Al-Qaeda, and Trump freed 5,000 Talibans.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you. I mean, I hate the people on the left that still are doing, there's no difference, and I'm going to vote third party. And it's like,
I know. And listen, I've done that, but I voted third party before, but I only voted third party when I was living in a safe blue state. You can't vote third party. Lincoln was third party.
Yeah.
I'm not in theory against third party. I think two party is dangerous. We should have two parties, but you can't vote third party in a swing state. You just can't. And I wrote a check to Ralph Nader on the Bill Maher show once. Like, you can't pretend anymore. Maybe during the Bush administration we could say that with the Iraq war. They're just the same. No, after Roe v. Wade being gutted, after seeing which side wants to make healthcare more affordable, which side wants to have Medicare cover vision, hearing, and dental, which side wants to have paid family leave, you can't claim they're the same party anymore. There's too many corporate Democrats like Manchin and Sinema we should call out, but the parties themselves, the differences are way too stark. And anyone saying that, no disrespect to Eddie Griffin, they're not paying attention to what's happening on a policy level.
Yeah,
I agree completely. I mean, when I've talked to people that are, one of my old podcast hosts that I had for a couple of years, he was all about, Bernie would have won the presidency in 2016. No, he wouldn't have, because he didn't win the primary.
We'll never know. I mean, Bernie had a lot of enthusiasm. Look, he could have won it. Bernie could have beat Trump, but Hillary Clinton beat Trump.
She did, exactly.
Yeah.
You know, it was the dead slave owners demanding the Electoral College that is the reason we had Trump. Bernie could have done it, but we also know, and I love Bernie. He's done my
I do
show.
too. I voted for him in the primary, so
I would vote for him at age 82. He just turned 82 to 81 this week. But if Bernie had been the nominee, the entire election would have been about socialism,
Yep.
not about Trump. And the same thing in 2020. And Bernie knew it. If he had gotten, it would not have been a referendum on Trump. It would have been a referendum on socialism. So I just, and again, Bernie Sanders is not a Democrat, but he is the #1 fundraiser for the Democratic Party. So
Yeah.
it's just not black and white.
Yeah, I mean, I voted for him in the primary in 2016, and I voted for Elizabeth Warren in the primary in 2020. Then I voted for the nominees.
Which most people do. I don't know anybody who had Joe Biden as their top choice from the beginning, except Jim Clyburn.
Yeah.
Having said that, the size of this coalition and the way they've held it together, because you don't need a Republican Party. You have so much diversity in the you have anti-abortion rights Democrats.
In the House, yeah.
You have freaking Rastafarian Democrats. That's how broad the spectrum is. You don't even need Republican Party when you have Manchin and Sinema. So, you know, I appreciate the arguments, and I think it's very healthy for us to hold the feet of Democrats to the fire.
Absolutely.
We can't be bobbleheads like Republicans. We have to criticize our own side. We have to demand they be. It's the only thing that works. Voting Democrat and then not checking out, but kicking their butts every day.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And the fact that this president, with the slim majorities that he has in the House and the Senate, has gotten so much work done is a testament to how he is governing this country.
Well, I mean, he's had some Botox and things, but when you say he's had so much work done, Jody, that's a bit unfair. I mean,
he's gotten a lot of work done. I mean, you know, it's a little pull. No, I mean, the fact that he's
nipped and tucked and tightened up a few places. We can talk about it. It's okay. It's LA.
he looks fine. No, but I mean, the work that he's gotten done as a president, not as a human. The fact that he's been able to get stuff done that's unprecedented, to overuse that word. I mean, the climate bill, I mean, it's not great. It's not the one we wanted, but it's the best we've gotten so far, ever.
It's better than what we had
9
before.
million new jobs. I mean, all the student loan debt relief, the first real gun law in 30 years, the American Rescue Plan, first black woman on the Supreme Court. NATO has never been stronger. Infrastructure, got $1.5 billion from Mexico, reduced the deficit. Yeah. The lowest year of child poverty in history, and more job creation. I mean, in his first year than any other year in American history. Yeah, the guy can run on his record. That's what he does. Biden's not worried about these low poll numbers, because Biden has always, and he talks about it, he makes every election a referendum between what I'm fighting for and what the other guy's fighting for, which makes him a lot more. And let the right wingers do their stuff about his age. Yeah, he's old. Okay, I get it. He needs to take a nap. But he's running against much older economic ideas. But he's running against 90-year-old Herbert Hoover economics, and that's what we should talk about. He's running against 18th century robber baron economics, so he's actually quite young when you consider the policies he's running against.
Fair.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, yeah, trickle down, please.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
that's Grover Cleveland. That's not. I mean, that's just, you know. Oh, hey, let's. Here's what we'll do. Let's make everything really easy for the rich, and let's make the really comfortable a lot more comfortable, and eventually it'll be good for everyone. Well,
I want to make the kind of money that I would be taxed for.
Right.
Could I please make that?
Real patriotic billionaires would brag about paying higher taxes like it was their penis size. For God's sake, we know that making the rich richer doesn't help the economy. The problem is the rich can afford a lot of media and a lot of politicians to keep pushing that for decade after decade.
Well, you know, since the Buckley decision, and then we move up to Citizens United and then McCutcheon, that's how they retain their power. All those Supreme Court decisions allowing money to bribe. Basically, we've legalized bribing.